Hello, and welcome to the Sonic Board podcast. It's December 16th, 2015, and I'm your host, DeoxysPrime, and joining me on this edition of the podcast, we got Matt.
Hello.
God damn it, Mule! we got Mule, obviously. And of course he doesn't say anything. Fuck you, Mule. We have Kenny.
Hello.
Yeah, being held against my will to do this podcast.
As usual.
Hello.
And last but not least, we got Collin. God damn it! You're ruining my podcast.
We're off to a great start tonight.
Collin, say something.
Hi.
Okay, that'll do. So Mule, what's the thing about this podcast? What is this one in celebration of? Because you're the one who always names these things. So
Am I?
Yeah. What's the occasion for this podcast?
Maybe my birthday next week.
Oh my God! It's the pre-birthday Kenny podcast.
Oh Jesus!
You got any big
Pre-birthday
plans?
extravaganza.
Do what?
You got any big plans for your birthday, Kenny?
Oh. Probably just gonna watch Love Live and play Halo.
God damn! Why did I even ask?
The pre-love post-live podcast.
Kenny,
Would
you're
you
a
like
simple-
me? Would you like me to send you something in the mail?
No.
Perhaps a
Don't.
noose.
Why would you do that?
You're gonna need it after you get the Wii U for Mule. Kenny, we care about
If a
you.
fucking Wii U shows up on my doorstep, I swear to God.
What if one of us, but like one of us non-Mule people? What if we sent you our Wii U?
A podcast.
Podcast.
Send the podcast.
Okay, I'm gonna send a recording of this podcast in the mail to Kenny for his birthday,
What the fuck is this?
and it may or may not cause him to kill himself.
Probably will. I don't know.
The point is, you're gonna get something nice, Kenny.
Are you seriously? One of you gonna fucking send me something? Please don't.
Well, now he sounds like he wants something.
No.
'Cause I remember that one time Mule sent you a gift, and you got all freaked out because you didn't know who it was from.
I didn't know who it was from. It's like anonymously addressed and like.
I
ended
bought
up
it at
being-
GameStop.
what
I guess they just
No,
didn't.
it was a play and charge kit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was bitching about how I wouldn't charge my controller, and I was just like, don't know what this is. Open it up. I was like, yeah, I could use one of these, but who's it from? My family's asking me like, who sent you this? I was just like, I made some bullshit excuse. I was just like, because I put two and two together, and I was just like, yeah, this is just like some like rewards thing with GameStop. They just sent me something.
You're good at bullshitting on the spot.
I guess I am.
You gotta do it a
Oh,
lot
my
whenever
improv
you order your
club.
anime figures.
You mean his World War II documentaries?
Your parents
I-
still fall for that?
I only have 3 on my desk right now.
So, Kenny, I'm sure you've been asked this like 500 times in your life, but because your birthday is one day before Christmas, do you get screwed over
Jesus
because of
Christ. Really? We're gonna get. I was just asked this yesterday.
I mean, it's a very important question.
I was
Kenny.
bitching that I had to work on my birthday, and I was just like, oh shit, like, December 24th is your birthday, and I was just like, yeah, like, do you get fucked over in presents? I'm just like,
That's what
I mean,
everyone wants to know.
it's the most important question.
it's just like, no, I don't, like, because I buy everything I want, like, before my birthday comes up, so it's just like, I get, like, maybe, like, just a couple presents, and I don't care. It's like, just give me food. That'll make me happy.
Food, really.
Yeah, food. Why?
You can get food like any other day of the year, Kenny.
But, like, really, like, good food, like, like steak or something like that.
Like a ham sandwich.
I hate you.
So, Steve, just send Kenny a ham sandwich in the mail for his birthday.
Yeah, because that's not going to be folded by the time it gets here.
I wonder if it's too late to send Kenny something.
It depends. Hmm.
You do next day shipping
That's true.
or holiday shipping if they have that sort of thing.
So I hear someone ordering Kenny something right now. Collin, is it you?
It's gonna be the most.
Not me.
I bet if Collin orders me something, it's gonna be the most random fucking shit.
So Kenny.
Yes.
By the way, we're recording again.
Yeah. Very professional, Steve.
Hey, listen, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's my fault.
It's not your fault for being on top of things and noticing that someone else is hosting the call with shitty internet.
Mule's the worst.
I mean, it's not my fault that my internet's shit.
I
You
mean,
should have reminded you.
it kind of is because you live there.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're talking about Christmas.
Yes.
I
Also,
believe so.
which is also Kenny's birthday.
Christmas is not my birthday.
It's
Close enough.
whatever.
Which
In
do you
Japan
enjoy,
it is.
Kenny? Which do you enjoy more, your birthday or Christmas?
My birthday.
Why?
I'm just kidding. Christmas.
Oh, I was gonna say, probably not this year.
So can I just Googled this? For further reference, is this your address?
Oh my god!
Are you fucking?
Oh, God.
Go to this time code to see Kenny's
Do not.
address.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, so right now we're all ordering Kenny something for Christmas.
No.
We're gonna make
No.
it. Hey, it's his 30th birthday coming up. We gotta make it special.
I like how I typed Kenny's name to Google and it's just oh here it is.
Well, you might have gotten the name of Ken Norton, the football player, or Ken Norton, the baseball player.
Yeah, it had to be specific and just say Ken Norton
There's
and then
also,
just the
there's
town
also
where
a
he lives in.
boxer.
The
Yeah.
boxer's dead though. He was wasn't he from the 1900s,
Something like that. I don't
like
know.
early
So,
1900s?
I'm just freaking out because I see my address right here on Skype.
No one else can see your address, Kenny.
All right, I'm gonna get Kenny a spider.
No, don't you fucking dare.
I wish there was a scale Ragnaria figure so that we can all get.
Oh
that for
God,
Kenny.
why did I click on that?
Is it a
Jesus
picture of a
Christ.
spider?
It's a gif of a spider.
Kenny, we love you.
Shut up.
You're still our friend.
Shut up.
So the real reason I wanted to get everyone on this podcast is so that we can
things.
talk about the Smash Brothers stuff that came out yesterday.
Are you fucking kidding me? Kenny, we want you to go on the podcast. We're going to talk about Nintendo shit.
I mean,
Okay.
you've been in enough of these podcasts to know how it goes, Kenny. That's also why I tend to ask you what you want to talk about, because
But
sometimes
No. This time I gave you something. I gave you an answer.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about it later, but we got to get the Nintendo stuff out of the way first for you. So, Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Who's... I mean, I know one person in this chat who's super excited for Bayonetta.
Is it me?
No, well, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, Matt kind of came in his pants during the announcement, so I was leaning more towards him, but...
I did actually yell very loudly.
I mean, to be fair, I did the same thing when Rosalina was announced, so I know how you feel.
I mean, I had an audible reaction when I heard her voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Did any of you actually vote for her in the character ballot thing?
I
Well,
voted-
you could vote for multiple characters on the same IP, and it wouldn't overwrite any previous votes. So I'm not
What you're
sure
saying
if
is-
there was a limit to them. But yes, I did vote for Bayonetta at least once.
I think I only voted for Wonder Red.
Yeah, Wonder Red was also my first vote. But
Only you two voted for
Platinum
you.
represent.
I'm just happy my vote of Knuckles did not go entirely to waste since he got a new costume.
You got the best costume in the game, Steve. I'm still a little disappointed that we had all this work put into costumes, and no other characters got DLC costumes.
As an alternate costume stuff?
Yeah, besides the Mii's.
Oh, yeah.
You had stuff to work with. So let's get this out of the way. There's an elephant in the room.
Oh god.
Because obviously we were all really excited about Bayonetta. But there was anti-hype manifest.
Are you talking about the Geno costume?
No. When I say anti-hype made manifest, I mean Collin.
You mean my unit?
Yes, I mean my unit.
You mean
No,
cleared
my
by
unit.
fates.
Yeah, we mean Super Shill brothers. There are people out there trying to save face, saying that, oh, he must have been part of Japan's pick for the ballot. I'm saying bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that. I think if you scroll through months and months of people looking at stuff, or like people voting, you might see a slight surge in Collin when that game came out, but I think Collin barely made top 50 overall in Japan.
I mean,
I think Collin was below that everywhere else.
I think it's pretty clear that the reason he's in the game is just for advertisement's sake.
Yes. And, I want to say that visually, the moveset does look interesting. It's nice that it's a complete moveset. And if Roy was not added to the game, we'd probably feel a little bit more positive about Collin.
Yes, but I mean, like, I remember even when the base game came out, it still felt like there were too many Fire Emblem characters there to begin with. Because I think we all kind of had Ike pegged as being removed before the game came out.
I was glad that Ike stayed around. Who here has played Fire Emblem games, by the way? Anyone present?
Only Waifu Emblem.
Only Waifu Emblem. Okay. So Mule and I have played Waifu Emblem. So while we are not hardcore Fire Emblem fans, we are technically part of the fan base. And
Just
we were,
agreed, yeah.
I would say that we were both, I don't want to speak for Mule, but we were both underwhelmed by Collin. Even if we play Fates, I doubt that we'll feel any differently about Collin.
I mean, it is kind of ridiculous that Fire Emblem has more representatives than The Legend of Zelda.
It's a little bit funny, but if you have, well, I guess Zelda's got a lot to work with, and it hasn't really had a new character since Melee, and that character was a clone. And both those characters were clones.
But it's just like I can understand why he put them in the game to advertise the game, but like I think that the thing that kind of pissed me off a bit more than that was like this entirely was like people like they never said anything that was going to be more than one ballot character, but I think we all kind of assumed there might be. And it just came out like there was only 2 new characters. I mean,
this could have been another ballot character.
Yes.
Like this could have been work that went into a character that people really, really wanted and were passionate about getting into the game.
And I do feel like the inclusion of Cloud, there was probably he probably finished pretty high on that ballot.
Probably.
I mean, he probably didn't beat out Goku, but I feel like that was kind of mitigating it because just putting Cloud in now, but yeah, it's like it was kind of limp with there was only 2 characters, and I know Bayonetta was like kind of made up for a lot of that.
I was not underwhelmed or disappointed by the character amount. I think too many people were hyping themselves up with like 5 characters.
No, I expected 3 characters,
and we got 3. But you expected 3 from the ballot.
Yes.
Right.
And that's just my own dumb interpretation of it. Like, obviously, they never said we would get more than 1 characters. But it just seemed like something that they would do, especially because they've been so generous. Because I remember we didn't really expect a lot of DLC characters to begin with.
No.
Like, they just announced Mewtwo, and they're like, maybe we'll do something else. And then they just kept springing all these new characters out of nowhere. So, like, I guess that kind of inflated our expectations a bit.
And you got to think, they're going to have Collin and Bayonetta available in February, which means that work on them had to start a while ago.
It probably started in October.
Oh, I doubt that. I
don't know,
I
cause
severely doubt it started in October. I think they saw like initial ballot stuff, and I think they made a conclusion after that. They say Bayonetta was #1 worldwide of realizable characters, but when we think realizable, us as normal logical people, we think of what's not realizable as shit like Goku, fucking Batman, Will
Shrek.
Smith, Shrek. But what's really the criteria for not being realizable in Sakurai's eyes? It could be completely different. There could be a bunch of nuanced shit going on in his mind that said, yeah, that's not realizable for me.
Well, yeah, like maybe it was just like I don't think there was any characters near the top that was like we can't really make a Smash character out of this. There could have been a lot of votes for some third party characters that they just either couldn't negotiate or weren't going to negotiate. Like if someone put Master Chief on there, I don't think they would have gone out and got Master Chief. I think Snake probably finished high in that list, and they were just not going to be able to get Snake. Yes. Because of the whole shit going on at Konami. But
and then there's shitty Crocodile Man.
Well, I mean, the one thing I am happy about this result is that like a lot of people got blown the fuck out.
Yes,
a lot of people like pushing characters that had no business being Smash characters got blown the fuck out.
Throw this out there. None of us are mad about Bayonetta being in the game. Bayonetta is an awesome pick.
Yes,
like that's.
And I think what made it more awesome is that like because no one in terms of the ballot, no one was talking about Bayonetta. Because I think most people assumed that even if she
Bayonetta
finished
was
high,
a pipe dream.
Like they either A wouldn't put her in there because she's too sexualized, or B like it just like for it wouldn't be possible because it's just Platinum's character, and maybe couldn't work out a deal.
After Cloud, people were not counting on Bayonetta.
Yes,
that's how huge Bayonetta is. Bayonetta was such a fantastic pick that we are not nearly as mad about Corrin.
Yeah, I think that about sums up, and I think the also the fact that like when you look at the footage they showed in the direct, just how faithful she is, to how she plays in her own game.
She plays almost identically.
Yeah, Matt was talking about earlier, but it's just like how extremely well they implemented her combos.
And they have the your mom taunt, so worth it.
Did she actually say "ask your mom"?
Yeah, well, she said it in the trailer, and that makes me hope that she has it in the game as well.
Yeah, pretty much everything they show in the trailer ends up in the game, as far as I know.
I just bought Kenny a gift.
Oh my god,
that's wonderful!
And he just typed "be right back," so it's gonna be.
No, I just heard that.
Oh my god, there he is!
Oh my god.
Did anyone have a chance to play Cloud yet?
I have, yes.
Okay, because I downloaded him.
I've had the chance to play against several Clouds.
Okay, I downloaded him. I have not touched him. I took a look at what songs were on the Midgar stage, saw 2, got pissed.
Yeah,
haven't gone back yet.
And he only has his Japanese voice.
Yeah, which is super weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, a lot of people don't like Cloud's English voice, but it's just strange because he's had an English voice for 10 years?
Yeah.
While, since at least Advent Children, right?
Yeah. So how is Cloud?
Well, I don't personally feel him. When I was fighting him against some players that are much more adroit with the game than I was getting my ass beat by Clouds. But from what I played, I wasn't having too much fun with him. It's certainly satisfying to land the finishing touch. I think he's got some neat tools with the whole limit break mechanic, especially with his neutral special is an interesting thing to throw out sometimes. Mm-hmm. And then his side special and his smash attacks. Oh, you know what's neat? His down air, the hitbox on his down air stays active for a pretty long time. And either I just suck at... Yeah, I was getting my ass beat by Clouds. Thank you, Mule.
Mule, you don't need to quote Collin because
maybe I'm just terrible at DI and timing my air dodges. But he has some nice follow-ups from his tilts into his aerials. And he's faster. He's much faster than you'd think he is.
Yeah, because I was just going to ask you about that.
He's definitely not Ike or Shulk in terms of frame data. Well, I mean, actually, you know what? Never mind. Ike is now very good in terms of frame data. Ike is now considered a good character and the best swordsman in the game. But he is not Ike pre-patches or Shulk in terms of frame data. Although Shulk did get a buff to all of his aerials and a lot of the damage on a lot of his other moves. All his aerials have also reduced in landing lag for this patch.
I saw you post that Mewtwo got a buff.
Yes.
Is he usable now? Finally.
I'm not gonna. He got a lot of changes, but I'm not that optimistic about Mewtwo because he was already so bad.
Mewtwo deserves better.
Maybe next
definitely
game.
One of the weakest characters in the game. And then Jigglypuff got nothing, and Palutena got nothing, and Zelda gets
nothing ever.
And then all of the top tiers are totally unchanged, which I like. I prefer that they buff characters rather than nerf them.
So was Shulk buffed significantly?
Shulk was buffed pretty significantly because his aerials are much better now. It's much easier to space with his aerials because they're safer. And then I'm not sure if Ganon is beyond hope or not, but Bowser got some incredible buffs. He can hoo-ha now. Bowser can hoo-ha. He hoo-has from his up throw rather than.
I mean, wasn't the whole thing when the game came out that they finally fixed Bowser? Did they break him again, or
no? It's that Bowser was not terrible. That was the.
That was it.
Yeah.
The bar was just so low,
and now Bowser might be so far as to say he's good.
So what you're saying is he's kind
we
of.
We don't. I mean, it's too soon to say, but we might be seeing some neat improvements for certain characters and metagame shakeups. Kirby got a lot of nice buffs as well. Link, Mac, no changes. Sorry, little Mac.
Wasn't Kirby total shit when the game came out?
Who was?
Kirby.
Kirby was considered not particularly good. I'm not sure, or maybe there just wasn't a lot of hype around him. But I think there are a couple of Kirby players picking him up now. So we'll see. Again, it's day one after the patch. So
all I want to know, Collin, is Rosalina still one of the best in the game?
Rosalina was completely untouched. Good. So there you go. Your waifu is uncuttable.
Best girl stays winning.
Your waifu for lifeu.
Until Bayonetta becomes the best girl in the game.
Do you think Sakurai would just make her overpowered?
Bayonetta?
Yeah.
No, but I think with the witch time mechanic, she can really, especially that it works even at a distance, where it can reduce damage. The witch time mechanic, if people get that down right, then she's going to be a pretty incredible character.
Anyone have anything else to add on Smash Brothers?
Here's my. Yes, I do. Sorry, it's if anyone else does.
No, go ahead.
I'm much more important. So. I want to talk about the DLC and the pricing of it. And while it's certainly nice that we are getting DLC that was all worked on after the game was released and we're not getting content cut for the sake of being packaged and sold as DLC later, I feel like the DLC is starting to get rather pricey. And it's starting to really add up. Especially with things like the Mii costumes. And if you want to get the Mii costumes and stages for one set, I think it was the Mario Maker and the Pirate Ship stage, and you want to get all the Mii costumes that come with that, that's $13.
I mean, if you're wasting your money on Mii costumes, you got no one to blame but yourself.
Well, I didn't buy these because
it's $13 for nothing.
But I would actually like to have them in the game.
Yeah, I get that feeling. I
think I'd really like it if the Mii costumes, particularly the Mii costumes, were just free, and stuff like Roy. Roy came without a stage, but was still $5. And while they've changed up Roy's moveset a little bit, when you really compare all of Marth and Roy's moves, he's certainly not quite Luigi-fied, as they say. He's still pretty damn cloney in terms of his animations and moveset. And I don't think that something like that is worth $5. Something like Lucas as well, even though he's less cloney than Roy is.
Wasn't he cheaper?
Roy and Lucas were cheaper than Ryu because they didn't come with stages.
Weren't they like $4 instead of like $5 or something like that?
No. They were $5 as opposed to $6, I believe. You can, if I'm wrong, then you can.
No, I think you're right.
You can post nudes of me on the internet.
Well, we will hold you in that column.
Okay. And I feel like this is just starting. I think people by this point, if they're buying the DLC, they've bought the game twice over now, and that's not even accounting for if they're buying it on both versions. And I feel like people are just being nickeled and dimed to death.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the thing about it is with the costumes are just cosmetic stuff, and I can understand wanting to have it, but at the end of the day, it's really just cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, I know it's still cosmetic. It's just cosmetic stuff, but it's cosmetic stuff that I feel should be free.
Yeah, but this is the era we live in,
and what an era it is. That being said, glad they at least worked on the DLC after the game was released.
Yes.
Yeah, I did like how they mentioned that in the direct.
I mean, like, Nintendo has been one of the few companies that generally does DLC right. So
okay, Mister, everyone point the finger at Fire Emblem right now.
I did say generally. I didn't say always.
Is that really Nintendo though, or is that
that's Mario Kart, Mario Kart, and Hyrule Warriors had great DLC that was at a very reasonable price.
Well, Hyrule Warriors probably had its DLC handled by Koei.
Yes, but I mean, like, it's
like,
still
Nintendo had to sign off on it, but
yeah, but like, it's still a Nintendo game. It is a Zelda game for a Nintendo system.
All right.
The point still stands. They did it. Like, the best DLC they ever did was Mario Kart. So
yeah. That was.
Oh yeah.
That was a pretty great bang for your buck there with Mario
Kart. Speaking of bangs for your buck, how about that new FF7 remake that we finally saw gameplay footage of? As well as the news that it will come in a multi-part series.
Was that confirmed? Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
That was totally... Yeah, that was not only confirmed, they came out and put out more details where they said each part of the game will be, like, quote, a full game.
Now, what did
that
they mean
can
by full
be
game,
massively
though?
put to interpretation.
Yes, that's a pretty wide stretch there.
They mean that they're going to be charging $60 for each part.
No
Yes.
way.
Yes.
No way.
Yes,
They
they
could.
are.
Shit.
Like, my expectation of that is, like, each version will probably be, like, maybe 15 to 20 hours. And they'll probably,
I was thinking each one would be like 6 hours.
No, it's not going to be like how most episodic games are done. There's clearly going to be a lot more work put into this, but you know, it's still going to be stretched out, and it's still disappointing that, you know, again, in this era of games, we don't really get full games like we used to anymore. I totally understand why they're doing it, because this is probably going to be, like, the biggest and most expensive game they've ever done. But when you think about it, like, FF7 back in the day was also, like, the biggest and most expensive game they ever did, and they did it in one game. It was on 3 discs, but they did it in one game.
So why do they have to do it like this?
I think it's that simply that if they were going to make the whole game and put it out as one game, it would take so long and be so expensive. It might not be, like, possible for them. Yeah, it's just like, you know, when we heard about the Metal Gear Solid 5 stuff and how much money Kojima was spending on that, and they ended up having, like, sell Ground Zero separately to recoup some of the cost ahead of time, so that they could, like, afford to finish the main game. I expected something like that.
And even then, they couldn't even finish the main game. Like, they
Yes.
just had, like, half a game.
This might become a problem for other big budget games going forward. That as technology becomes more advanced, the prices keep getting higher for production.
Yeah, it's just like diminishing returns at this point. It's just like you either have to, like, cut down shit or, like, sell at ridiculous prices.
Yeah, and to be fair to Square, like, they were very...
fair to Square.
They were very serious about...
Don't do that laugh, Matt.
They were very
Stop.
serious about, hey, we don't want to cut anything out of this game. We want to give like everything that was in the original game. We want it to be in this game. So, if they were going to do just like one like packaged game, it would probably be a lot of cuts to it.
So what you're saying is we are going to have Cloud prostitute himself to a mafia dom.
They totally did confirm that the cross-dressing stuff is in there.
But can we dress as Girl Cloud for the whole game?
Could you do that in the original game?
No.
Okay.
Can we do the whole?
I mean, Steve, you played it.
I know, but I mean, I keep seeing that comic, and it just gives me hope that you could do it somewhere. But maybe I just missed it. But no, but they did confirm like all the goofy, less serious stuff is going to be a part of this remake as well, which is nice.
That's actually very nice to hear.
I expect that like probably the first part of the game will like just be like Midgar, and they'll pad it out with a lot more stuff. Because I want to talk about that later. Because I'm playing through FF7, the original, for the first time, and I want to talk about that in a minute. But I expect like sections of the game like that will have more stuff padded into to make it feel like a fuller game. Kind of like the extra missions and stuff they added, like the Ground Zeroes.
I expect 40 hours of gold saucer minigames.
Yeah, it's because that game has like so much like stuff that's like not just like typical RPG stuff.
Like the fucking snowboarding minigame.
Yeah, it's like, and they have to recreate all of that. So I totally get where they're coming from and why they're choosing this route. Again, it's just more the disappointment of like, like full games aren't really what they used to be.
If the price isn't unreasonable, because we don't know the pricing yet. That how I feel about this will all depend on that.
Yeah, they haven't confirmed that, but I mean, just the way they talk about it being a full game, I expect it to be a full priced game.
If it's a full price game, then
if it's a full price game, my advice would be wait till it's all done and they release it as one game.
Yeah, they're gonna do
on like the PS5 or something, or the PS6.
Again, on 3 discs
for $120.
They also showed the actual gameplay of it for the first time, and it's clear it's going to be much more action oriented.
But like, we don't really know how much.
They did say it's not going full Kingdom Hearts. That it'll be like a mix of action and turn-based stuff.
A final mix, if you will.
Yes. And I think that's fine. I understand why a lot of people are upset of it, but I mean,
yeah, I don't think the gameplay or the active time battle system that they had in FF7 is really that antiquated. I mean,
it's not, and I actually kind of like it, like playing through it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of like action and energy to it already. But even playing through it now, it's just like I can see like making it want to be more action focused.
Yeah.
I tend to prefer action RPGs to turn-based RPGs in general. So I'm not going to fight them on this, but
I just hope they don't go too far. Like there certainly is a happy medium that they can reach with that.
It seems like that's what they're trying for. And they confirm like a lot of the stuff from the demo, like limit breaks and stuff like that, is still in the game. And there will even be other systems that are not in the game, the original game, that they'll be adding to this. So, how much more depth to it? There could be more than what was there before. So, Kenny, do you even like FF7? By the way,
I don't think Kenny's ever played an FF.
Kenny doesn't like JRPGs, so
I've never played it, so I have no comment.
Well, Kenny, you should go fix
you
your
could
PS4
purchase it right now on the
and...
PSN store.
Like this happened at one point. Like, have you ever played like FF7? I was just like, no. It was like jaw dropping for them. I was just like,
I mean,
it is a good game.
There are people like who grew up with Sony systems, and then there are older people like me and you, Kenny, who didn't.
Well, I had a Sony system growing up.
Which one?
Yeah, the PS1.
Well, then you have no excuse.
Go fuck yourself.
I mean, Kenny's just like never been much of an RPG guy. Like that's just how he is.
Yeah, I'm not either. To be honest, the only reason I'm playing like the original FF7 is because DL was like, you have to buy this game.
Deal just fucking guilt tripped you
I'm
into it.
I'm just not a fan of turn-based stuff. I mean, I'll play RPGs, but like turn-based is just like I don't like it.
Mm.
So
No, I totally understand that. It's its own thing, and it's not for everyone. I kind of put up with it. Like, there are ways that you can make turn-based more engaging to me. Like, I like the Mario RPG way of doing it, where it's turn-based, but you have, like, action commands that always kind of keep you in the game. But, like, even the way FF7 does it is perfectly fine. As long as there's something that's just, like, keeps me engaged, and it's not just, like, you know, standard
Hit attack.
turn-based.
Wait.
Yeah, the only kind of game I like that has that is Pokemon, and that's just because Pokemon is so simple that it works for me.
I mean,
Just
Pokemon's simple and it's like really fast too. So it's,
Yeah,
like, never
yeah,
really
it is. But
waiting.
I so I want to talk about playing FF7 for the first time, and it's really weird. Because like I was saying before, I grew up on that other side of that battle. I was old enough to where my first system was an NES, and I just kept on the Nintendo path all the way through. And like the PS4 is like the first Sony system I've ever owned, so I never really got a chance to play those games. And it's really interesting to look at it from that perspective. Because I think if I didn't have like an appreciation for older games, I would not like FF7 at all. There are a lot of parts of this game that are really rough. And
Like
it's
the fucking visuals.
Yes, and it's one of those games where it's like, it's clearly not aged well, and I totally get why so many people wanted the remake. It's like, from the other perspective, I would never tell someone who never played GoldenEye to go play GoldenEye now, even though it was like,
God.
GoldenEye was one of the best games, like, of its generation during its time of release. But, like, unless you grew up with it, it's hard to have an appreciation for that now.
It's like it's still a great game, but you need to like put an asterisk like next to the recommendation, like saying like, okay, this shit has like improved way like amazingly since then in some ways.
It's like some games from that era are still timeless, you know, stuff like Mario 64.
Yeah.
But like it's also interesting because like growing up with an N64 and not a PlayStation, almost no N64 games use like pre-rendered backgrounds.
Yeah.
So I never really experienced that style of game. And playing this now, it's just like, this is not only is it really rough looking, but it's like there's so many maps I get into, and it's like I'm lost. I don't know where on this map I can move. There's such like it's such like a weird disconnect between your character and the background.
World around you.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny because the old Final Fantasy games have actually all aged pretty well. At least the good ones.
Yeah,
like,
for almost everything from the SNES era, aged really well.
Like Final Fantasy 4 and 3 still look like really good for their time. I would say.
they totally do. Yeah, it's just this weird perspective I have on it. And it's also the fact that like there are a lot of elements to that game that's just like it's very like I'm not a big.
What is it like in terms of its localization?
I've known the game has a bad translation, so
okay.
That's fine. Thanks for reminding me, because that is one thing I did want to bring up. Is like, it's not even an issue with the localization, but like it's very stilted in terms of character interaction. Where like characters will talk to each other, but it's like they're not talking to each other. It's like one character will say something, and like the other character's response to that is like completely disconnected from what the previous character said. And I just don't know if that's the style of dialogue for games of that era, because I never really played anything like it. But it's just really weird. It's also really slow, and I get that it's the JRPG. But the thing that kind of surprised me about the game was like how little time you actually spend in battles between story stuff, like especially early on. Because I really like the actual like gameplay portion of it, but it was kind of weird that there was so little of it to me.
Yeah, like the first, I want to say, is 5-6 hours in Midgar is just like straight like story introduction stuff.
Yeah, it's really slow, and also the fact that like I was actually kind of disappointed. Like I played 5 hours in Midgar, and then it was over, and then I went in like that because that setting is so cool. It's so much unlike anything else in the game.
Yeah.
And then you leave, and then the rest of the game just kind of is like generic, like fantasy RPG stuff, for the most part. And it was just a little disappointing because I love that setting so much.
Yeah.
I had no idea there was a fucking motorcycle chase scene at the end of that section, and like despite how like kind of overly simplistic it was, I did find it pretty hype inducing. So
you don't see a lot of that in RPGs.
No, you don't, and I can totally understand like people's love for this game, even though it's like I'm still a bit disconnected from it playing it almost 20 years later.
Yeah. I mean, like, I didn't play it until, like, I want to say about 2003. And, like, even then, like, it was, like, only a few years later, but it still, like, took a lot to, like, actually get into it. Because, like, even, like, in 2003, like, you're, like, comparing FF7 to shit, like...
I mean, even by that time, FF10 had come
Yeah,
out.
you have Final Fantasy X by that point.
Yeah, like, and 10 was already, like, 2 years old or so, and, like, already looked outdated. And it's, like, it's so kind of weird going back to that sort of thing, like, going back, like, about 7-8 years to a game that is, for all intents and purposes, like, outdone in terms of, like ease of use, but, like, still has, like, certain, like, quirks and, like, I guess just the quality that, like, a lot of the games just don't have even today.
You know what's also kind of funny is, like, playing this almost 20 years later is viewing this through a lens of having a lot more knowledge of Japanese culture than I did when I was, like, a teenager and had, like, none.
Yeah.
To where it's like they introduced Tifa, and it's like, hey Cloud, I'm your childhood friend, and I'm like, I know this meme. So yeah, it's like I'm gonna stick with it and play through the whole thing. But it's like it'd probably be really hard if I didn't just like have an affinity for older games. But that's basically all I want to say in FF7. If anyone else had anything they'd like to add. Wow, dead silence. I guess not.
Well, I mean, I could say more, but it's like you're only like.
I'm about
just
halfway.
one.
I'm about halfway through the game. I guess I've played close to 20 hours. I think.
Like, I mean, you could say like. I mean, we could talk about the battle system, like the
No,
material
Kenny
shit.
wants us to move on though.
No,
Yeah.
wait. I want to talk about how the cultural, or I guess the impact that Final Fantasy VII had on video games, and I'm gonna have to use this term, gamers. There it is, the map noise.
But Collin, gamers are dead.
Yeah, whatever.
They've been dead
and how
since
that's
2014.
How we felt that kind of fade in the past 7 or so years, where there was an age where if you didn't know what Final Fantasy VII was and you didn't know who Cloud was, you weren't a real nigga, right? Now, everyone I have talked to, outside of our little circle of internet weirdos, right? About Cloud in Smash Bros. Has no fucking clue who Cloud is.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing a lot of the opposite. I mean, I guess it's just because I hang around places on the internet with a lot of people who like video games.
Well, there you go.
So I mean, there's going to be a large cross section of that. But I guess, like, why does Cloud seem to not resonate with these people, Collin?
Well,
gaming has a different audience now.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's like if they're old enough, like early mid 20s.
No, not even that. Like my brother who owned video game consoles as a kid, no fucking clue who Cloud is. I mean, he's obviously he's not exactly a guy who stayed with video gaming, but at the same time, he doesn't know who fuck he is. I mean, he played video games as a kid, doesn't know who he is.
That's interesting because you're totally right. Because I remember when GameFAQs started those character polls and like Cloud won like the first one or something, and like when I started posting on message boards, like that was like the character people talked about.
Yeah, it was Cloud. He was a huge character.
Yeah. Now it's just
And now people don't know him. We live in the post-COD 4 world. You know?
What a fucking horrible place.
we live in we really are the Last of Us Ellie world.
Jesus Christ.
Is Master Chief still relevant, Kenny?
Yeah, he is. Why?
I mean, he was relevant for a full 3 missions, yeah.
Aha!
Ah.
Hey, Paul made a zinger tonight, everybody.
Oh, Kenny, we're gonna move on.
Check it out, Mule's important.
I am important.
So a bunch of fucking movie trailers just dropped in the past couple weeks. Kenny, which of these trailers got you the most excited?
Independence Day Resurgence. Don't know how it's gonna go, but I'm hoping that it's good.
I'm actually right there with you. I mean, a lot of people hate this movie, and I think they're fucking dumb.
How can you hate this?
Because it's like it's like one of the most fun '90s action movies there is.
It's really
That's
dumb,
one of my
but
favorite
I
movies
can't
like
help
ever,
but-
though.
Yeah, Independence Day is fucking dumb, but I still love it.
Yes, it's
so,
that
it's
perfect
so,
kind of
over
movie.
the top, but it's just like, like
I think the thing of it is because like Independence Day is kind of like the grandfather of that wave of dumb like action disaster movies that came after it.
So what you're
that
saying
were-
is all Independence Day's fault that we had this shit.
It kind of is, yeah, because it did reignite like interest in that kind of movie that had been dead since like the fucking 70s. And like Independence Day did it the best, and everything else was just like that came after was just awful. So I do have an appreciation for it, like in that respect. But like, I'm totally with you, Kenny. I'm really hyped for this movie. I've known it's like been going to happen for a while, but like they kind of dropped that trailer out of nowhere with no announcement of it. And I
yeah.
think that's part of why I got kind of excited for it because I was not expecting it.
I mean, Jeff Goldblum's gonna be in it, of
Dude,
course.
Jeff Goldblum is the best.
And
Like
fucking.
the thing about it is
Wait,
because whenever I see
wait.
it,
The guy with the beard. That's Bill Pullman, right?
that is Bill
Yes.
Pullman. Yes,
Okay.
I
Okay,
love that he's
yeah.
playing grizzled old Bill Clinton president now.
Yes, right.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, like, whenever I've seen a like picture of Jeff Goldblum from the past 10 years or so, he looks like he's on the verge of death. So, like, seeing him pop up in this movie looking like
He actually looked pretty young.
he actually did, kind of, yeah, he looks like the older version of his character in that movie, which was nice to see. I thought like I thought like he would basically been done with.
Wait,
acting.
wasn't his character in that movie just Jeff Goldblum?
It was, but like
So he looks like an older Jeff Goldblum.
No, but I mean, like, he doesn't look like 90-year-old Jeff Goldblum as he's been looking in the past few years.
Right. But Steve, you brought something to my attention before we started this podcast about
Is this about Captain Stephen Hiller?
yes, Will Smith's character.
So, the thing about this movie is that Will Smith is not in it. And the reason for that has been kind of debated, and they haven't officially said. Like, some people have been said, like, he just, like, asked for too much money and they weren't going to pay it. And other people are like, well, like, he wanted his kid to be in it, and the studio just said no. And then the other thing I heard was, like, he may have just chose not to do it because he was burned out after the colossal flop that was After Earth.
Oh God. Which his
So-
kid also appeared in it.
Yes. And, like, it may have just been a combination of all of those for all we know.
Is he still
but-
trying to push his kid as like an actor?
I think
Right.
After Earth probably killed any chance of that.
Yeah.
We can only hope. But, like, the thing about his character is they launched, like, a viral website that talks about, like, everything that happened in between the last 20 years. Like, between when the first movie happens and this new movie. And one of the things is, in, like, 2007, when
He
they're
fucking
testing...
dies
like,
in a training exercise.
yeah, they're testing, like, an experimental aircraft based on alien technology, and he's the first one to do it, and he dies.
Do
It's
they
just,
even
like, a random accident.
do they even go in depth with it? Like, or do they just like?
No, they just say, like, the world suffered a great loss today, where Captain Stephen Hiller died in an unfortunate training accident.
That is
He is
that is-
survived by his wife and child.
that is terrible.
But,
Well,
like,
That's a little mean-spirited.
But,
That's a
like,
low
his-
blow.
his wife and his adopted son are in the new movie. Like they're like main characters in it. So.
Are they the same people?
Who played his wife in that movie?
Fuck.
I can't remember.
Was it Vivica J.
Yes,
Fox?
it was Vivica A. Fox. Yes, she is back, and I mean they recast the kid since he was just a kid.
I'm sure, yeah.
But it is like his son is a part of this movie, as is the lesser Hemsworth. Who I guess he's taking the Will Smith role in this movie, alongside Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum will also be taking the Will Smith role. That is correct.
like I don't even, like who's it directed by?
Same
Roland
guy,
Emmerich.
Yeah, same guy who did
Same
the
guy.
first one.
Oh,
Otacon.
he's dead.
Neither Roland Emmerich nor Otacon are dead. I'd just like to put that out there. I don't know who Kenny was referring to.
I'm just being dumb. Sorry.
It's okay, Kenny. Collin.
Yes, sir.
Were we in disagreement over the quality of the Batman v Superman trailer?
I don't think
I thought it was kind of dumb.
I don't think we were totally clashed on it.
Because the thing is, like, I've never been excited for this movie because Zack Snyder.
Right.
And the colossal failure that was Man of Steel.
Right.
But the first full-length Batman Superman trailer they released, I thought was actually really good.
Okay.
And that didn't get me excited for the movie, but it was like I have somewhat of a hope for it now. I just felt this latest trailer kind of fell super flat. And I
super flat.
I think we do have a disagreement on Jesse Eisenberg though.
Yeah.
Because like every line he said in that trailer, I don't want to call it cringeworthy, but it was really, really bad. Like I cannot imagine a worse interpretation of Lex Luthor than what they're going for here. He just like anytime he said something, it just like killed the trailer for me.
Yeah,
so what exactly do you see
what
in him?
they're going for is going to it was inevitably going to look bad out of context. Because they're going for a more manic Lex Luthor.
They're going for the Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, they're going for a Lex Luthor who pretends to be Mark Zuckerberg. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Like that's the feeling I'm getting. If it's not, then bragging rights to you, Steve. Fuck that Lex Luthor portrayal if it is just Mark Zuckerberg. I think it's a Lex Luthor who has this outward persona of this swinging hipster type guy who's kind of this cool nerd who's a bit of a goof, but overall a real approachable, funny guy. But he's secretly this hateful, egocentric asshole. And I'd like that if they kind of peel back the layers as the movie goes on.
Like an onion?
Yes.
But like it feels like they're going like too far in that direction because it isn't like the classic version of Luthor. He's that same way. He's not as like kind of crazy, but like he's a very charming individual, right?
Yeah. Well, I want to note that none of the footage we have seen is of bald Luthor.
Well, is he even going to get bald in
Yes,
this movie?
we do. Yes, we have seen images, or at least an image of him as bald Luthor.
Okay.
So,
That is him removing his mask.
Okay, but my point is, I still think they're going too far in that direction where it just feels like they're trying to create a new Joker, like not like the actual character of the Joker, but like that kind of performance that Heath Ledger gave as the Joker.
What, you mean a mimetic performance? No. I know we throw the word around a lot, but in the real sense of meme.
But yes, but I mean, they want that kind of like over-the-top villain performance that everyone is going to talk about. But I just feel like everyone's going to talk about it in the wrong way.
Again, a lot of what I'm seeing with this movie is we'll see. From what I heard a lot about stuff in production, just a lot of good things. I feel like if you point Snyder in the right direction, he can turn out a good product. You don't feel that way, and that's where we split. But on this trailer, I wasn't feeling too strong. When I first walked away from it, I said that was pretty good. Up until Doomsday, who is Doomsday is a shitty villain, and if you're gonna pick a villain who just needs to be a big dumb brute to get the shit beaten out of him at the end of the movie and have all the heroes team up, go ahead and pick Doomsday because he sucks.
I think I saw some kind of comment not long ago where they hinted that like Doomsday may not just be the end of that movie. There may be more like after him.
I'm not sure about that, but if there is, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But you guys saw me rant about this in the CT months ago, but this is exactly what I warned about happening, where they take Doomsday and they only create Doomsday as a reaction to Superman, and they want to make sure that everything in the narrative ties together so that they don't have a bunch of shit happening at once that's just unrelated, but somehow you just have the perfect pieces of the puzzle all together, even though the puzzles were all just separate shit until you put them together.
Mm-hmm.
You want one big Mickey Mouse head. They don't want parts of a Mickey Mouse head and parts of a Donald Duck head that somehow you put together and made a Mickey Mouse head with, right?
Yeah.
But wow, puzzle analogies. Wow. But they want to make it so. What they're doing wrong here is that they're making it so it feels like Superman only exists to combat things that Superman creates, which kind of defeats the point of Superman. If the people don't need Superman, if Superman isn't there, like doesn't that just destroy the point of creating and crafting this entire universe around Superman?
Yeah, it kind of does. And it's just it'll be interesting to see like how they branch out this universe off from here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just feels like it's gonna be too much too fast, but I could be wrong.
I don't feel like it could be too much too fast. I mean,
we may have had this discussion before.
Yeah, not everyone needs to have their own movie before being introduced in a team.
But I think that is the better approach.
People can do ensemble casts all the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, X-Men did it.
Yeah, they did it.
But a lot of the complaints about those movies was like a lot of the X-Men don't really serve a purpose other than just doing this one flashy thing.
Well, if that's what they're there for, at least they're not wasted. Right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you have these good characters, it would be nice to flesh them out as characters.
Well, sure, but they plan to. They're gonna spin them off.
Maybe.
Well, okay.
Because that's the thing. They're putting all their eggs in the basket right away.
Yeah, in this movie, they're betting it all on this movie. Like when I heard Batman vs Superman, I thought that's a great idea for a sequel. And then they said, okay, we're gonna put Wonder Woman in the movie. And I'm like, okay, a Trinity movie. So long as it doesn't become Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And they say, okay, we're gonna give Aquaman a cameo. And I'm like, okay.
Fucking Aquaman.
And they say, okay, Flash might get a cameo.
But not the Flash that's currently on TV, mind you.
No. We're talking Ezra Miller Flash.
That's not gonna get confusing.
No, it's fine. It's just different dimensions. People accept those now. Don't worry about it.
I totally agree with you on Doomsday, by the way. My only issue with him is that like he does not look intimidating enough.
He looks like a big frogman.
Yeah, and I realize Doomsday's like normal design is kind of dumb looking.
Yes, if you want to keep Doomsday faithful, there's very little you can do to help.
Yeah, but I mean like he's still big enough.
So 90s. Oh my god.
Yes, he is, but he's big enough and he's spiky enough to be intimidating. Whereas the movie, at least in what they've shown, does not come close to like capturing that.
Yeah, they're trying to capture Michael Shannon's likeness in Doomsday, which made it look very strange.
Anyone else have anything to add about Batman v Superman?
Nope.
No. I guess we're moving on.
I mean, I
How-
don't think any of us really care that much about Batman v Superman. Other than what
I mean, I know
Art
Collin
said.
does, so I wanted to give him his moment here.
Wow, this is my moment to shine. I really hope that the fans enjoyed the Collin section of this podcast. Please leave a comment saying that Collin is best girl, and we'll be sure to give you a nice upvote. Follow me on Twitter at fagassmcgill at twitter.com, and send me a tweet, and I'll send you dick pics. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on.
Oh yeah, we'll move on. So before we get to the super bad trailers, let's talk about one that was kind of okay.
Oh, they're doing a
surprisingly.
super bad sequel?
God damn it! I knew you were gonna say that. Did any of you watch the first? Not first, but you know what I mean. Ninja Turtles movie, the live action one that came out a couple years ago.
No.
God no.
Was I the only one who watched that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
well it was fucking shit, by the way. Just so you know.
Yeah, that's why
but-
I'm not
Shocker
watching.
there.
But the trailer for the sequel actually looks kind of fun because they're going like full like 1980s cartoon Ninja Turtles in live action now. Whereas the first one was just like, let's make this super serious, try to rip off Transformers. This movie is about Megan Fox and not the Ninja Turtles. That's all that first movie was.
So
Whereas
they're
this
gonna
one
make
is
less-
more about the Ninja Turtles, and they have Bebop and Rocksteady actually in the movies for once, and they're going probably to introduce Dimension X and Krang and the Technotrome all in this movie.
Yes.
It
From
may actually be dumb fun.
everything that I have seen regarding production for this movie has made it seem like a soft reboot.
Yeah,
They've
Like,
changed a lot.
yeah.
I'm not sure it's going to make for a good movie, but
It might make for a fun one though,
it might make for a fun one. Which
because the first one was very much not fun.
okay. I'm
As-
just hoping that they can get they can get Toka and Razar in there
What is with you, Toka and Razor?
because it's got to be 4-on-4.
Does it really need to be though?
Yes.
Well, no, the thing is that Bebop and Rocksteady are stronger than the Turtles. They're just dumb, and that's why they always lose.
Well, okay. But Steve. But Steve. If it's they're stronger than the Turtles, but then it's still 4-on-2 to even that out, and then they're dumb on top of that. That kind of removes the tension.
Okay, but what if Shredder shows up?
They got an actual Shredder now.
They do have an actual Shredder.
Yes. If Shredder shows up, if Shredder Shrows, then
That's harder to say than you would think.
it's like saying the word publicity. If Shredder Shrows, then he fights with Bebop and the Rocksteady,
And then Krang jumps
and
in.
then Krang jumps in his
Stupid robot body.
his Mr. Universe suit. Then it's a party. And I will go see this movie with you. So that
Physically?
so that you don't get cucked by a no singles policy.
I don't think they've introduced that in Canada yet, so...
Oh, all right.
Wait, is that an actual policy?
Sometimes.
He keeps talking about it, I don't know. Kenny,
What?
did you watch the trailer for Star Trek Beyond?
No, I didn't.
As the resident liking these stupid Star Trek movies expert, I feel like it would be right up your alley because it seems more stupid than the other ones.
What makes me an expert?
Oh, that
Why do you make me an expert?
Because you like
Because-
the other ones.
Yeah, because you like them.
I do like them.
I mean, the first one wasn't necessarily a bad film. It was just like not really a Star Trek film.
The first one was a fun movie the first time you watch it, And then if you try to stop and think about anything in that movie, the whole thing fucking falls apart. Do not stop and think about that.
It was a good movie, but not a good Star Trek movie.
Well, you know what? You know what? That's
yeah. You know what? Give Ken a whole bunch of shit because that's all he ever gets.
Well, don't worry, Kenny. You're gonna get something in the mail soon, so there you go.
So let's talk about what this trailer seems to be doing right. They brought down the scale.
well in a bad way though.
Okay,
Like-
okay, we're getting to the bad points later, Steve.
Okay, Mr. Positivity. I'll
So-
give you the floor.
They've brought down the scale. Not every Star Trek movie needs to be the big one, the big apocalyptic, world-ending, galaxy-threatening Star Trek movie. Right?
But isn't
Where's
there
our
a
modern
scene-
whale movie?
There's
Isn't-
something that there's something appealing about the idea of me imagining this movie as an episode of Star Trek.
But isn't there a scene in that trailer where Earth gets attacked again?
Oh, is there?
I could have sworn I
Okay,
saw
if there
one.
is, then fuck it.
See, because here's the thing. I totally agree with you. There was one... Did any of you watch Star Trek Insurrection?
No.
That's a really bad Star Trek movie that also got a lot of criticism for, like, feeling like an extended episode of the TV show.
Yes, but that was because that was actually like in continuity with the TV show.
Yeah, no, but yes, but like, there's a way. What I'm saying is, there's a way you can do that works as a movie, which I totally agree with you.
Okay.
It's like that's what I want out of Star Trek.
So who's
All right,
directing
I
this,
want them to be actually
third one?
doing some Star Trekking.
Oh, Mule asked who directed this. So the thing is, when they announced that J.J. Abrams was not coming
fuck.
back,
Oh, okay.
I actually had hope for this.
Ha ha!
I actually did have hope for this.
No, I knew this. Was
And then they hired the guy who directs some of the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh God. Oh.
So what you're
because-
saying? This is just fucked. Like,
and then
They're
music
clearly
started.
going, like they're clearly going even further in the action adventure
Yes,
category.
that was a huge misstep. As soon as the music, you could tell what music they were playing. You could tell this movie was fucked.
And
If this movie is good, I will be outright shocked.
yes, and the thing is, like, the thing about Star Trek that I really like is when they're out in space exploring. And then this movie says, hey, we're going to destroy the Enterprise and have them stranded on random rock planet. It's like, you're missing the point, guys. You gotta have some real space exploration in there. I just don't care. I want to care, but I don't care.
It's sort of space exploration. They're on a planet, you know,
Yeah, but it's like, it looks like...
talking with the indigenous people.
It looks like random rock planet that you would see in an episode of TNG. And that's not necessarily a good thing.
T-nig.
I don't think that's what it's called.
Alright.
At the very least, Kenny will enjoy this movie.
Maybe.
I mean, are you even certain of that? This seems kind of too much of a stupid action movie.
Our only hope for Star Trek is the new series, which they don't want anyone to watch, because they're putting it on some random CBS streaming service and not on television.
Well, okay.
So they're just
Rip in
saying,
peace,
"Fuck
Star
this,
Trek."
then."
Pretty
with
much.
with anything, like I'm done. So
What is it? What do you mean you're done?
I'm done with Kenny.
I'm going to bed.
Boop.
We're still in the podcast!
Kenny,
I don't
off
care.
the podcast.
Kenny,
What?
hang in there for a little bit longer.
Are you kidding me?
Kenny,
What was
these
the other-
podcasts only come once in a while.
What was the other bad trailer? Oh yeah, the X-Men trailer.
There's a new X-Men movie coming out.
Yeah. There's always a new X-Men movie come out, or else they lose the license to X-Men movies.
Oh, so it's like a Fantastic Four thing.
Yes. It's made by the same studio, in fact.
Please
Like
tell me
poetry.
this is the last one.
Nope. They're hoping that either Deadpool or Gambit can carry the
No,
franchise.
this is the last trailer.
Oh, this is the last trailer.
But, like, after this, Collin and I have to talk about Jessica Jones, so...
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to talk about that, so...
All right.
Okay, so I have a lot of hope for Deadpool. That movie does look good.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I'm hoping Deadpool turns out good. I mean, I think Deadpool's coming maybe a few years too late after the Deadpool hype. But
Maybe,
at
but
least
I
we're
still
getting
like him
it.
as a character. Like that didn't go away. So,
Yeah.
but the thing about my reaction when watching that X-Men trailer was like, this just looks lame. It looks really, really lame, and that was kind of the feeling I left with. Like, Days of Future Past is not a bad movie at all.
Mhm.
But watching that, I just can't help but feel that like these movies are stuck in the Bryan Singer 2000 X-Men movie era. Like, comic book movies have like evolved a lot since then, whereas these just feel like out of time in a bad way, and they're just not moving forward.
Well, what completely turns me off to this movie isn't necessarily Bryan Singer's directing style or the fact that they're tied down to this continuity. What turns me off to this movie is their choice of lead actress for, because I'm sure Jean is like the lead of the young X-Men here, right?
Yeah,
So
seems to be.
Sophie Turner, she's on Game of Thrones. She plays Sansa on Game of Thrones. She's fucking terrible. She's an awful actress, and her American accent is absolutely abysmal. And we're gonna have to bear with that for 2.5 hours. Hopefully, Oscar Isaac can salvage this whole thing.
I mean, I don't. He's got a lot to live up to because someone already did Ivan Ooze.
That's hilarious, but his costume does not look that bad.
I don't know. That may just be one of those characters that like it doesn't matter what they do, they'll never be able to truly capture it.
Mhm.
But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But
Yeah.
that's not my. Well, I thought you were gonna say your biggest issue was that like there's no real sense of tension because we already know that these characters live through this movie. Because we saw in Days of Future Past that they're all still there in the future. So
Yeah, that doesn't mean that just because you because we don't go into shit like Iron Man movies thinking, oh no, is this the one where he's gonna die? Right?
no, but
Because we go into movies, a lot of action movies made for mass audiences, knowing that the heroes are going to live. So that doesn't mean that stories are not worth telling, though.
I agree with you. I just feel like in this situation
when a war
it's a little
veteran
silly.
waxes nostalgic to you about his war stories, it's like, don't even tell me this. I know you lived through this.
I guess I'll concede that point mostly. I still feel it's a little silly, but because like when you have a movie with this many characters, some of them could die, especially because they rebooted the continuity where like anything could happen. They weren't tied down by the old movies anymore. But then they put in that like end of the last movie that like ties them to this now new specific ending where they have to get to. I just think it's really weird.
Aren't Xavier and what's his name?
Magneto
and Beast, aren't they supposed to be like 20 years older than what they were in First Class in this movie?
Yes.
Oh, all right, just want to throw that out there.
I mean, that movie was filmed like 7 years ago or something, so.
All right. Well, okay. Also, Jennifer Lawrence sucks.
Yes.
And has always sucked as Mystique.
Please, like she wasn't in that flash forward, so they can kill her, and they should kill her.
They should absolutely kill her off because for some strange. Okay, so she was in First Class and she sucked. She was actually cringeworthy in that movie.
What was her line at the end?
Mutant and proud. And
she could not pull that off. I don't know if anyone could, but she sure couldn't.
Not only that is that the makeup for the Mystique stuff is so much shittier than it was from over a decade ago.
Well, like in that trailer, like
because Jennifer Lawrence can't commit to the role enough.
In that trailer, like she spent most of the time not as Blue Mystique.
Yes.
So she may just be the point, like, fuck it, I don't want to do this if I don't have to.
No, they make it's become apparent that they make these movies on the cheap. I mean, did you see the special effects in First Class? Do you look at that moment where Magneto is holding the missiles? Do you see that? Go back and watch it. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah, that movie
Like,
especially because they
That's
weren't
such an
confident
overrated
in it.
movie. McAvoy and Fassbender are great in their respective roles, but they're it.
Yeah, I've always said it about that movie.
Like,
Like it's the Xavier and Magneto show, and that's it.
yeah. Everything that's not them and the two of them interacting with one another is not great in that movie. Kevin Bacon's plan in particular is the dumbest shit.
Kevin Bacon. Yeah, I really just.
Oh, and
wish
then in what is it? In Days of Future Past, they make Mystique. They make the plot revolve around Mystique and what she's doing because Jennifer Lawrence blew up and became a huge star, and that's the only reason.
Yeah, pretty much. And like, I'm not even one of these guys who's like, they should give the rights back to Marvel because I don't give a shit about X-Men.
Yeah,
I don't even think they fit in well. I don't think X-Men fit in well with the rest of the Marvel universe, to be honest.
Honestly, I don't really care if they're back at Marvel or not.
Yeah, but it's just like I want them to do something else other than these Singer movies, which all feel the same as something that came out like 20 years ago. Well, 15 years ago, I guess, but like it's like because when those movies came out, it was like no one had confidence in superhero movies. So like the first X-Men movie was almost embarrassed to be an X-Men movie, which is why they had to make those stupid jokes about the suits and stuff. And they're still kind of stuck in that because like this, like they're in the fucking 80s. I think they could put them in the classic suits in this movie.
They do
But
have
they don't.
mohawks in this movie. Does that work?
No, it doesn't.
Does you forgive them now?
No, it don't.
You don't?
No.
It
I
don't
don't.
forgive?
It don't forgive.
Wait, when does Taylor Kitsch turn into Channing Tatum over the course of 30 years?
I can't believe they're still going ahead with that. Who cares about Gambit?
Well, Gambit it's kind of strange that Gambit only appeared in the Wolverine movie thus far. Because he's actually a very popular X-Men character.
I mean, he was in the 90s.
And so...
I don't know if it's still the case.
I mean, he didn't get popular in the 2000s because he was never in an X-Men movie.
Fair enough. Can he just drop for the call?
Is that going to fuck with our recording?
No, it's still recording.
Right.
Good night, Kenny. When you listen to this in the future, good night.
Good night.
Enjoy your birthday present.
Is there any other trailers I missed that are worth talking
there's
about?
the Civil War trailer. I'm not sure if we talked about that or not.
I don't know if there's much to talk about.
All right.
Because like it's one of those things that came out and like, yep, it's Civil War. It's pretty much what I expected.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I do want to say that like I do really like how Black Panther looks. They kind of nailed it.
Yeah.
So
Let's we don't want to be those guys that say we're super hype for Civil War. Let's run the old analysis machine to break down everything in the trailer.
IGN does do that, right?
So Iron Man's
and I've read those articles too. Go ahead, Mule.
So Iron Man's the good guy in this film, right?
Well,
okay,
my hope for this film is that, and it seems like that's the Russo's hope for this film as well, is that they don't make it seem like Iron Man and his band of buddies are the bad guys, because that was a huge fuck up in the original Civil War storyline, where it just became a thing about George Bush, gun rights, and they just made Iron Man and friends look like colossal assholes.
I mean, do we have a good enough director to actually make that so though?
Let's hope. They had Winter Soldier talked
Which
about
is fantastic.
Talked about a relevant political issue.
And handled it extremely well.
Regarding security versus freedom,
and not only that, like they were able to relate it to Captain America in like a good way.
Exactly. So there you go.
Mm.
So let's hope they.
It is one of those things also where like you can look at both sides of the issue and like totally understand each side's point.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as they don't do something to fuck that up, I think the movie will succeed on that.
Let's just hope they don't bite off more than they can chew with the movie.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to be the case. They're clearly grounding it in the Captain America Bucky Barnes relationship thing,
right?
Which I think is a good choice. The only thing for me, I don't know if we'll ever see it before the movie comes out, but just like what the fuck is going on with Spider-Man in this movie. He's in it. We know he's in it. We don't know what he looks like. We don't know what he's gonna do.
He's gonna show up in some international TV ad a couple weeks before the movie comes out.
You're not wrong. We're like the Japanese trailer.
Yeah, something like that.
Because they always spoiler every movie, so...
Well, there you go.
There it is.
Civil War. Oh, and by the way, you can look forward to our Civil War Batman vs. Superman discussion podcast.
Where me and Collin may kill each other.
Yes. Well, whatever. We'll probably agree. Well, I don't know. It seems like we're pretty civil regarding these discussions, Steve.
You need to be civil for this Civil War.
Towards each other on the anime podcast.
That's true.
It's funny because anime is trash for plebeians.
But it also generates more discussion than anything else.
Also, this podcast has kind of become the Steve and Collin podcast. Let me just...
I mean, it's because none of us really watched any of the film trailers, I think.
Yeah, Colin's definitely the biggest movie guy among us. The only movies I'll see a few movies every year that I'm interested in, and I don't watch a lot beyond that.
Yeah,
I did
basically never pay attention to films, so...
What were you going to say, Matt?
I did actually watch the Independence Day 2 trailer, and I'm actually legitimately more interested in that than in most movies that are coming out.
I'm pretty hyped for Independence Day 2.
It's such a stupid fucking movie, but
it's a perfect dumb movie.
It's so it's just so charming. It's like adorable.
He figures
out how stupid
how to take down the aliens because he had a cold. It's not like he didn't figure out how to hack into the aliens like mainframe or whatever bullshit it is, whatever science bullshit. They didn't know how to hack into their ships. He didn't learn how to do that. He just figured out. He just learned that he could do it. Like he just remembered that. Oh yeah, we could try this. I gave it a cold. How did you do that? I gave it a cold. Because he was reminded that he could do this because he had a cold.
Thanks to his
there was no
Jewish
explanation
father
for how he could do it. He could just do it. He just gave it a cold.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love that. It was beautiful. Yeah, I just want to note that this is also the only, even though this is a movie playing off of nostalgia from people who saw this when they were young, mostly, or were interested in this sort of stuff when they were younger, like all the other movies that we've talked about, plus Star Wars. And but it's also the only one that I feel like isn't just a merchandising vehicle. It's the only one out of all the ones that we've discussed or all the big movies coming up.
Like, people forget this, but when Independence Day came out, that was one of the biggest movies ever released.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think it was second only Jurassic Park in terms of, total amount of money made at the time.
Yeah, Poopy Pants knew that.
Yeah, and they never made a sequel to it, which is, unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
But, credit to them, they didn't want to do one until they, actually got inspired to have an idea for it, which came after 9/11, by the way. This movie is pretty much in response to that, but it just took them a long time to work out the idea for the movie and then get it greenlit. They were gonna do 2 of them, but then Fox was like, yeah, maybe we should just do 1 first.
A fucking Independence Day trilogy.
Yeah, it was going to be they had planned 2 movies. It was gonna be the sequel was gonna be ID Forever Part 1 and Part 2. That's what they were going to be called.
Oh god.
But they could only get 1 movie greenlit, so I think I expect this movie to end not on a cliffhanger, but on something that will obviously lead into another movie. I expect this movie to be hugely successful. Some people are kind of skeptical of it, I guess, because it's 20 years late. But I still think there are a lot of people who love the first Independence Day, and we'll go see this one. So I think that about wraps up for trailers. I did want to talk to Collin. I don't think you guys watched Jessica Jones, did you?
Yeah, I wish I had organized some points on this because I kept bringing them up at random, and I wish I could remember them all. Because
well, maybe once you get to talking,
yeah,
it'll come back to you.
So, Steve, did you just make this the TV podcast so you can't go on TV this week?
Yeah, I did want to say that though, because like I do. We're maybe planning, hopefully, to do like a Star Wars podcast.
Probably.
I
Review
mean, hopefully,
podcast.
like
Yeah.
this weekend, maybe next
Well,
weekend.
I mean, like whenever. I would like to get like Funk and DL in on it because I know they want to watch it, but like it's weird with them coming back from Japan, so we'll play it by ear. And then like we got like 2 anime podcasts coming up in the next few weeks, and then we got to do a Game of the Year podcast. So we're making a lot of work for Omega. I hope he doesn't mind. He may lose his fucking mind before then. I don't know what the fuck is going on with him, but
It'll be either him or Kenny. I'm not sure which one will go first.
I was gonna say we're gonna make Kenny do the quotes for the podcast from here on out.
Oh yeah, we should do
Good
that.
fucking luck with that. Jessica Jones, Colin.
Right. So.
I want to say that I like this series, but I liked it more in the first half, and then my enjoyment of it dropped off. Like, I don't want to say considerably, but it was a slide until the end. And like once I finished it, I had this kind of feeling like I like it, but it's really disappointing at the same time.
So, for those of us who are not in the know, what is Jessica Jones about?
Colin, why don't you give us a bit of an overview?
Wow. All right.
Well,
So,
because I feel like you're the only one who had like much familiarity with the character before this.
okay, all right. So Jessica Jones, this TV series is based on a comic called Alias, which was part of Marvel's Max series, which was supposed to be a more adult-oriented comic book, so they could say naughty words in it, basically.
That's cute.
And they could have more violence. And it was about this this girl who wanted to be a superhero because she had shit tier super strength, basically. So she's mildly super strong. So really impressive by normal world standards, but because she's in the Marvel universe, she's really not that impressive.
So she can lift like 3 sacks of potatoes.
So she could probably like lift a car.
Which she does do in the series once.
She doesn't lift it above her head.
No, but I like even Spider-Man has trouble with that.
You shut.
I guess
Fuck
well,
up.
depending on the car, I guess.
You ever see
But
Spider-Man lift the Thing? You've seen him lift the Thing in the iconic comic book panel where he lifts it.
Spider-Man's strength has been like widely portrayed.
What did he
so-
lift when he lifted the Thing? What was the Thing? They
He stopped the
they
fucking
paid
train.
they paid homage to it.
It's a rock.
in the
He's
second
a fucking
film.
rock monster.
Anyway, where was
Anyway.
I? Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones.
And she's now a retired superhero after her attempt at it was an utter failure, where she was put under the thrall of a mind control villain called the Purple Man for several months. And when she finally escaped him, she opened up her own private investigation service. So it's kind of just about her solving mysteries and getting over her PTSD. Whereas this adaptation of it mostly focuses on her getting over her PTSD and confronting the Purple Man, whom they never refer to as the Purple Man. They
That
do
fucking
know
name.
they do know that his favorite color is purple, though.
And they do show him in a purple light often. There's a lot of like
There's a lot of
the color
there's-
purple is
I
very
don't mind at
featured
all
in the
that
show.
they did not actually make him purple.
Yes.
So why don't they call him the Purple Man?
Because it's a dumb name.
So
Or all like, you gotta have my accurate comic book representation.
Like if they
Honestly, the Purple Man is a dumb name.
yeah, if they tried to work it in there, it would have come off as lame as when they tried to name drop Doctor Doom in the newest Fantastic Four.
that was fucking great.
Especially since they've upped his ante, so to speak, because in the original comic, he would mind control other girls and he would rape them in front of Jessica, but he never touched her.
Which actually I think is probably worse.
Yeah, he'd make Jessica
Like, that's more of a villainous thing to do.
like he'd mind control Jessica into being madly in love with him and make her beg for it and make her do all this shit while he was doing all these things to her.
Mhm.
And then he'd rape girls in front of her. And then in this adaptation, they just made it so that he was in a sexual relationship with her while she was mind controlled.
And boy, do they drop the rape word a lot.
Yes.
They really drive that point home.
Yes, they do.
Which, it's like, I get what they're doing. They want to make him a super scumbag villain.
He's okay. Like, by the way, David Tennant's the best part of this entire.
Yes, he is excellent.
He's great.
I also think Mike Coulter as Luke Cage was also really good.
I liked him.
They didn't give him enough to do.
Yeah, I liked him until the dead wife storyline, because that just felt.
It was handled a bit sloppy.
Yeah, it felt because it's initiated by misunderstanding, which is terrible. It's just
and like they dragged that out like fairly long.
They did not have
series.
enough material for what was it, 12 episodes or 13?
13?
It was 13. Wow.
Yeah.
And these Netflix shows, they often get a lot of praise, and I think it's because people don't have enough time to digest them and really pick apart the flaws, because they got to get their reviews out, right? And they just binge watch all 13 episodes, and then they get their reviews out, and that's it. And they don't spend a lot of time reflecting on the material. And so I binge watched Jessica Jones, and the more I thought about it, the more I disliked it. And I feel
I was in that same corner, but I don't think I got to the level you got to.
Yeah.
Like, there's still a lot about this series I like.
I think it's a lot.
I didn't like it as much as I. Yeah, it's no Daredevil.
Yeah.
Daredevil was fucking fantastic.
Yeah. And I just want to note, Kristen Ritter is pretty weak in this show.
Yeah, I think she was by far the weakest.
Like, if I was watching if I was watching a local play on stage, I'd walk away saying, "Yeah, I think she was really good for these young amateur upstart actresses. I thought she was really good. But this is a multi-million-dollar production, and she really didn't cut it. Especially because not just her acting, but
I also don't like her nose.
okay,
She has a weird nose.
Let's lay off the low blows there, Steve. Yeah. I have this mind control power. What do I do with it? Yeah, I'm gonna obsess over this 7 out of 10 who's immune to it.
I think the biggest part about
wait. Okay, but let me
yeah, go ahead.
finish this point.
Yeah.
So she's not in the proper shape to do these sorts of fight scenes.
The fight choreography was so bad.
It's terrible, and not only that, is that they're really inconsistent with her super strength. Like, she gets subdued by guys who really shouldn't be able to subdue someone this strong.
Fucking scrubs who have no sort of superpowers, are just regular people.
Like, she can even do this non-lethally by just, like, slapping them across the room. And that's that. And, yeah, so anyway, you go ahead, Steve, with that point you were about to make.
Yeah, I was definitely going to make that point about her superpowers, which is really disappointing. Yeah. Like, I get that, like, they're... like the budget and all that, but they never. At no point did they ever really, like, her super strength was really limp.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it never gave you the, like, kind of impact that made you feel like she had super strength.
Yeah,
like you know that, like, I don't necessarily know if it's a fair comparison, but you know the opening of the Winter Soldier, where Captain America's on that boat and he just fucking wrecks those normal soldiers.
Yes,
and like every time he punches or kicks someone, you really feel how strong that is.
Yeah, well,
comparison.
they have a shot for him punching, and they have a shot for them getting punched, and it helps. And it helps with the impact.
Yeah, and this show, like, the only sense of her strength is like whenever she punches someone, they kind of like fly a bit across the room, or she'll slam someone through like a cardboard wall, and that's it. It just doesn't give you enough satisfaction to where, like, you can successfully demonstrate that she has super strength. The other point I really wanted to make was that, like, the problem with her character is, like, she has very little actually development as a character.
Yeah,
she's very one note.
She's basically where she is at the start, at the end.
Yes, exactly. That was my exact point. Like, she ends up in the same place she started. I don't I don't know if she really learned anything. I don't know what, like, I get the point of the series, and it's kind of saved mostly by the Purple Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like they could have done so much more with the show. The the fucking, a lot of the side characters
Awful.
were really bad.
Yeah. The cartoon character twin.
Yes,
the
like,
wacky twin.
And the weird part is, like, when you get to the end of the series and you feel like things would be wrapping up, they would still linger on those characters for multiple scenes.
Yeah,
and it's just like, at this point, they're not relevant and no one cares.
Yeah, there is a huge, like, Matt and Mule, let's address you two here. There is a huge plot development that hinges on this character randomly appearing like something out of a sitcom. Like, just listening in on someone else's conversation.
So what you're saying is, like, all it lacks is a laugh track.
Like, yeah. Like one character is sitting at a table with other characters, and he explains something to them that if said cartoon character were to hear this, she would go ballistic. And he says it, and she just happens to be there.
She just slides into frame.
Yes, there she is to frame. And I'm like, is this meant to be hysterical? Because it is. And a huge wrench in Jessica's plan is thrown into Jessica's plan here because of this plot development that hinged on this absolute idiocy. And I don't think the show ever recovers from that, because they couldn't figure out a natural way to end the show once she had him, or a natural way for him to escape. Because did she know that she was immune by this point? She knew.
She knew,
Yeah.
but, like, the show also never really explains why she's immune to his powers.
They never really explained why she's immune. Like, people threw out fan theories, and I'm like, okay, but that's just hearsay. That's just bullshit. You're just trying to cover up the fact that the show didn't feel like explaining it. Like, they say, well, she became immune after spending so much time with him, and I'm like, and they explain this when? When did
I think
when
it's
did
like
they establish this?
It's like a one-line explanation that doesn't explain anything.
No.
And
They don't, though. That's not the.
no, but I know, but she did say something about it at some point.
But
it doesn't explain it though.
And then his power, he gets even more powerful, and he still doesn't have any effect on her.
Yeah. The like, I talked before about how, like, I really liked the first half and then it slid off from there. And it's like a lot of the middle episodes of the series, they have, like, really impactful ends of the episode. But the last half of the series doesn't have any of that. There was also one really weird episode where, I don't know if you remember, I think it was like episode 5, where these random people kind of hire her, and then she discovers that, like, it was all a setup, and that these people actually hate her and blame her for the events of the Avengers or something. And it was just like,
they were just racist against metahumans.
Yeah, it was really weirdly shoehorned into this series and just didn't have, like, any relevance to anything else that was going on.
Yes, it was very strange.
It was really weird, yeah.
Oh, and by the way, so this guy, the Purple Man, Mr. Kilgrave, Zebediah Kilgrave, if you will, his powers obviously work when he speaks and when you see him speak, right?
Yes.
He releases a virus into the air. I
do like how the show very clearly defined the limits of his powers, though, so you always understood what was happening at all times.
So if you, like, put him in, like, a soundproof, airproof room, airlocked room, whatever, he can't do shit to you. So if he's talking to you through a microphone, he can't do shit to you. But throughout all this time, they never seem to think, hey, what if we just cover our ears and don't look at him? Until the very last episode.
Yeah, that did happen, and it was really weird.
So anyway, high hopes for Luke Cage
Yeah,
Let's hope Michael Coulter does well. Although I feel like it's kind of dumb that they're doing Luke Cage without Iron Fist and Iron Fist without Luke Cage, because the two of them feel like one half of a whole.
yeah. I saw recently they did finally just hire a showrunner for Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some I think they're actually debating whether or not to make him Asian or not.
Oh, that's
'Cause
weird.
he's not Asian in the comics.
Yeah,
right?
no, he's white.
Yeah. So I don't know whether that really changes much, but it was one of those things where people weren't sure if they were still going through with the series at all, and there was kind of a lot of rumors about maybe it's getting canceled or maybe it's going to be made into like a movie instead of a series. We'll see. At least we have like the next thing up is the second season of Daredevil.
Yeah, that should be.
Which the fucking Punisher and I'm
Yeah.
sure that's
Oh my
gonna be
God, they
great.
cast such a great guy as the Punisher. I mean, I haven't really seen much of The Walking Dead or anything like that, but I know him from Fury, and he was fantastic in his role in that movie. Fury in general,
So-
everyone puts in a great performance, and he looks like the Frank face. Everyone knows the Frank face from that artist who can only draw Frank Castle.
No, but if you showed it to me, I'd probably know what you were
Yeah.
talking about.
Dylan. The artist's last name is Dylan, and all he can draw is Frank Castle face on every character. And this guy looks like he's got Frank Castle face if he scowls, and it's wonderful.
Totally looking forward to an entire season of the Punisher versus Daredevil.
Yes.
So is the Punisher also going to be autistic? Because that seemed to be kind of a running thing in the first season.
I don't think the Kingpin was supposed to be autistic.
I think-
I mean, he was, though.
Guy was spurgy as fuck. He spilled his spaghetti everywhere in that opening scene. And that like Italian bitch, she was all like, "Yeah, I like that spaghetti. I'm Italian."
Okay, I think
Successful
we'll
prank.
wrap it out there unless anyone had anything else they wanted to talk about.
Please look forward to the Lucky Cast fall anime season review and the Lucky Cast year in review coming this month. Please
And the
put
Cast
Hey,
Star
don't
Wars
make
Review
promises I
podcast.
can't keep.
coming this month. Assuming we're not all busy with the holidays.
I'm gonna have like at least a week apart between the fall anime and the year in review podcast.
All
Why
right.
don't we just do them the same day? One after
Well,
the
we
other.
it depends how long it takes us to record the fall anime podcast.
Just tell Kenny to
They're-
suck it up and just do 5 hours of podcasting.
Oh God.
Unless you want to start at like 7 p.m.
I mean, I don't care.
I mean, I know you don't care, but Collin may still be having dinner.
Collin doesn't care.
We
Either
never
way.
know. I care. No, my time's pretty valuable. So, yeah, fuck you.
That about sums it up. Fuck you.
Fuck you, Mule.
Everyone say fuck you, everyone.
Fuck,
Bye, guys.
Bye.
fuck Mule.